Well, they were able to act out their mission, which was beginning with strong faith. It's the faith of what they truly believed in doing the will of God that stimulated everything that they did. So faith is very, very deep and important. They were able to see the good in everyone. That's another big fact. No matter who it was, they saw only the good in the person. So that was a big plus. They saw their past behaviors and the disease and saw God's love in everything they encountered. And so that was a big thing for them, is that no matter what, they saw down deep the person as belonging to God. And that, to me, had a lot to do with mercy, because they just felt that whatever came up, they were always ready to forgive. So that's a big one. Well, one of the big ways was they approached humanistically, the human person, as bad as they looked, because that disease of leprosy was not very pleasant to look at. And the people that went there naturally didn't want to be there, but they were forced into it. So you have to know that underneath it, there had to be some anger. There had to be a lot of things of why, why me? Why am I here? And yet that was overlooked. And to me, that takes a lot. And that's probably one of the things that they looked into, as being very human with the person, knowing there's underlying reasons of why they did things. So the humanistic approach, the compassion and love. And as I say, there's nothing you can do without love, because when you love someone, no matter what they do, you're always ready to forgive and forget. So that was Mother Marianne and Damien. Mother Marianne is the one that I would say that I really have zeroed in on, because I am very passionate about spreading her legacy, the wonderful person that she was. But the love and caring that she had for these individuals was very above and beyond health care. Even though they needed the care, she gave all the human needs to them, the feeling of not being alone, a feeling of trying to make things pleasant. She made them clothes. She taught them to sew. She did some nice things that you would do in everyday living, even if you weren't separated from everybody else. So she made the surroundings as possible, as much as she could, to be normal. And that meant looking nice. And the girls had said to her in one of her letters, why are you doing this? Because I'm going to die anyway. But we live one day at a time. She tried to stress that, to living each day as fully as you can and as pleasant as you can. Teaching them to do crafts, making little things for their rooms, and trying to plant the trees, fruits and flowers. So the surrounding areas they tried to keep as normal as possible. The dignity and respect that she had, I think, was outstanding. And that goes along with our Pope Francis, the dignity of the human person, which is so important. And to make it as much family as possible. They were just taken away from their family. So she understood that and tried to make that as much as she could, as possible as she could. Well, I'd like to refer back to their example of being forgiving and very patient. They were very forgiving if they were, if somebody took something out on them that they didn't like. They tried very, very desperately to be very forgiving and to not make that a point of not talking to me. Sometimes that might happen. Always in a loving, forgiving way, assisting them in ways to do good and to be good. Always trying to help them to be good. The example of loving your neighbor and being a friend. Being part of a family, even away from your immediate family, was, I think, uppermost in Mother's mind, to be able to be there for them. There had to be a lot of loneliness, and I think she understood that. So that's a very, very important thing about mercy and forgiveness, which I say the Pope is giving the example now, very much so. Always thinking of others. She never thought of herself. And she was often not feeling well. Early on, she had tuberculosis, and they said every so often she was, spitting up blood and whatnot. And the care of herself was never first, which is normally a mother does that, always thinking of their children first. So she always thought of them as her children and to love them. And doing God's work. She always considered doing God's work as being very important. So that's, to me, very extraordinary, and I think that's helped her in her sainthood, that we recognize that in her as a special lady. Her compassion, her caring, her sympathy, everything that you could think of, her compassion was very outstanding for others. And I think when you don't put yourself first, there's something about that makes you more happy and able to do for others. So I hope that that's what we do and what we try to teach others who come into this museum. This museum is a part of trying to keep her legacy alive. And so that's what we're trying to do here. When people come in, we try to get them to relate in their own lives some of the things that maybe their journey, their spiritual journey, what's that like? And to go over your life up to now and see where you fit in and maybe are able to improve through her example.